Welcome back to Sims Complete. I'm your host, Matt Sims, and hey, he's Phil Sims. All right, we're a part of the Bleed Sports Network, and we're ready to go. You know why? Because we got a quarterback here. I mean, no, quarterback. What are you talking about? We got a head coach, man. We got a head coach and a quarterback. All right, we're getting things lined up here, but we're gonna break down a little bit of just Coach Harbaugh's press conference, the New York Giants. Right, exciting day here for Giants fans, for Harbaugh, for his family. Thought it was pretty cool too. You know, he told his mom and dad, "Hey, you don't have to worry anymore. I'm not in the AFC, or I'm not in the same conference as my brother. I'm in the NFC now. Got my own thing going." But big guy, just your level of excitement for Harbaugh, for the Maras, for New York Giants, for the fan base. Just your thoughts about him being introduced officially now in front of the New York media as the new New York Giants head coach.
Well, yeah, listen, I'm happy for the Maras, the organization, Joel Shane, everybody involved down there.
Yeah.
I did not go to the press conference today. I didn't want to answer too many questions, but hopefully if he's still there, I'll be down tomorrow to see him all. But
I hope he's still there tomorrow, but yeah.
Well, I don't know. He might go back home. He's packing up. Who knows?
Right.
But I think the big thing is we got a guy. The Giants have a guy that's proven he can win. He's proven that he can change the team quickly. And, I think I'm just anxious to see his we know Todd Monken's going to be the offensive coordinator, which I am really happy about. I think he fits the town, the team, Jackson Dart, and everything all in one. And I can't wait to see who that defensive coordinator is. But, 18 years, John Harbaugh down there. Matt, a lot of good. He was, a tremendous coach, had great success. But no matter what, he's probably had a chance once he was let go by Baltimore to go, okay, in my next job, I'm going to correct some of the things I did wrong. And I think that's for Giant fans and for me and you, whatever. I think that's you got to expect that all of us, we're all geniuses after the fact. And I think that's the way he is. And new energy, being in a new place, new people around him, I think that's a big deal too.
I think so too. And I think that's the first takeaway that I have from a veteran head coach that's won a Super Bowl, that's been just a pillar of stability for Baltimore for such a long period of time. Basically for the majority of I feel like my adult life, I've seen, Harbaugh and Tomlin in these positions. And it's strange now to see him with that Giants blue backdrop there as he's doing this press conference. But you can't avoid the fact that when he was up there during that press conference, the childlike enthusiasm that he has for this opportunity. And that's what makes being a Giants head coach so special, right? To go along the long lines of history that we have within our franchise. And, he's now a part of that history. And he was asked about Jackson Dart, and he's just like, hey, of course, quarterbacks, it's pretty important. It's pretty important. We feel pretty good about the guy that we got. And so, just to see someone who has accomplished everything that you want to accomplish at the highest level, and for him to still, be like a 7-year-old boy who's like, yeah, I'm the head coach of the Giants now. Like, is this awesome or what? And for him to be greeted by the New York media that way in excitement, and even Joe Shane was like kind of nervous in the press conference, because I think he's just like, man, this is so cool. Like, there's such a great new vibe and energy, and and I'm happy for everybody involved. I really am. And we got a head coach that has tremendous track record, and we should feel very confident about the direction of where this team is headed now under his leadership.
Yeah, Joel Shane, once again, he was dressed impeccably. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, he's sharp. He's sharp.
He's sharp. And I always get him. Who picked out your clothes? Oh, my wife. Well, I talked that. Well, whatever. It doesn't matter. But you're John Harbaugh. You come up here, and I think once you get in the building and you start looking at the organization, what it's been, what you want it to be, and all that, that's got to be very exciting to him.
Yeah.
And I really mean the energy level. It's going to be double what he had down in Baltimore, just because of the history of the Giants, the fact that he got, to me, the best job opening of what was there, 10 exact?
10 now, yes. Yeah.
He got the one I think is the most ready and to be excited about. And the quarterback is, a big reason for that. And Jackson Dart proved to everybody what he was. And I've said it many times. I think he performed even above what people were thinking. And he's got Todd Monken as an offensive coordinator who's going to carry this thing forward. And it'll have tons of things, solid plays, good designs, enough bells and whistles to keep everybody happy.
Right.
And so I'm excited about that. But for John Harbaugh, I'm excited for him. I covered him many times doing games for the Baltimore Ravens. We had some great discussions. He was always forthcoming in games that they were going to play. And I go, wow, that was great. I'm glad you told me that. Things like that. So
where you said his brother was not that way going into games.
His brother was exact. Well, I've said this story. I'll say it again.
Yeah.
The Super Bowl down in New Orleans, we're doing it. We talked to John, and it's great.
It's Ravens Niners in that Super Bowl, right? Flacco ends up being the MVP of the game.
Right. But I say to John, thank you for all your help, and all that was great. And then Jim comes in. And Jim can't really answer a question. And then he looks at me once and he goes, I listened to some games on TV. Did my brother really tell you all that stuff you say? And I said, well, Jim, I wouldn't lie with, about your brother.
Right.
Up. He goes, I just can't believe that. And then we asked, I think Jim Nantz goes to Jim, well, if you win the opening toss, what will you think you'll kick or will you receive? And he goes, yeah, it just
right.
And I said, Jim, you don't have to answer it if you don't want to. And he goes, okay.
Well, there we go. That's the difference between the two brothers, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So,
I think Jim has lightened up and become, showing more of his personality and all this stuff as a head coach. I know he did, or he has so far in the 2 years he's been out there with the Chargers. But with John, I'm excited for him. I can't wait to see him and just shake his hand and wish him luck. And knowing, I'm gonna tell him like he's heard a lot of times, being the Giants coach, it's a great thing. It's a big deal. And so I can't wait to see what goes on.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I mean, just, from all the years that you covered him down there in Baltimore, especially being covering that Super Bowl run that they had, which was a phenomenal year, led by Joe Flacco. And there's just so many phenomenal moments from that football team, and it being Ray Lewis's last season as the middle linebacker for that team and everything that he had done for that franchise. What's the number one trait that you would say that, or the number one thing that you noticed about Harbaugh that just like, man, this is why he's got it. This is why he's a damn good coach. I mean, what is it about him that, to you is one of his most important features as a head coach?
Well, I think he does what you would want in all head coaches. He relates to the players really well. They like him, but he's very honest with them. And when he has to be tough and says things or whatever, if it's in the classroom, on the practice field, during the games or whatever, he's not afraid of that either. So that's what you want. You want somebody, as I always say about this, when he walks in the room to meet the team, they got to know he's the man. Mm-hmm. And if they don't think he's the man, then it's not going to work to the degree you want.
Right.
And I think they'll find out he is strong. He believes, he's got certain beliefs, and some of those will change. Right, Matt? I mean, it's a new start, new thing. He can maybe put some ideas into his assistant coaches and his team that we haven't seen for a few years. And so excitement. Giant fans, hey, it's going to be a lot of nice things said about the Giants, the coaches, and the players from now to the start of the season, and then we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, and of course, like, just going into the draft now, with him and Shane too, kind of like what their strategy is and just where they put their focus. Very curious to see how that plays out. But you're right. That's got to be one of the most exciting things about Harbaugh in this experience, because when you're a part of a team for such a long period of time, you just kind of you get more and more narrow with your focus. Cause like, well, last year we did this. All right, hey, let's make this sharper and this sharper. And now he's got a moment to step back, take a breath, and see like, hey, this is what worked for me here. This is something maybe I should have seen coming, or I should have been prepared a little bit more. Maybe I could have pivoted and done this instead. So you're right. I think this is going to be a really cool time for him as a coach that's as talented as he is, to reflect on what worked, what didn't, where were the shortcomings, and now, maybe polish it up again in a different way.
Oh,
in
absolutely.
Giants blue, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, he'll be a different coach. He won't be the exact same guy. I expect it to be elevated. What you learn from all those years and what you've done. It's like playing around the golf, and
Mhm.
I play some golf and there's a shot and you say, yeah, let me do this. And you hit it and you go, man, why did I do that? That was a really stupid decision. You think about that when it's over. Same with coaching. Some of the things that don't turn out, if you don't like the decision you make, you learn from it. And when that time comes up again, you'll remember it and you'll make the right decision.
Yeah.
So I just can't get over the fact. I think about it a lot. 18 years of coaching the same team.
Yeah.
You know what? That tells you something there, right?
Right. Right.
With the front office, with the owner, and with the players.
Yeah.
That they kept hearing the message for a long, long time. And maybe some people in the front office or whatever, who knows? I don't know, and I don't care. Maybe they didn't like some of the decisions. Let's move forward, whatever. He disagreed. And so I'm glad he disagreed because he's with the Giants now.
Yeah, it's really just, and he's 63 years old, and that's what's crazy too, is that like 18 years and still see him as a young coach, and just the way that he carries himself with that energy and all that. Now they
He
did show some
looks at
pictures. Yeah, they did show some pictures of him early on in his time in Baltimore. I was like, okay, yeah, he's aged a little bit more than I thought, but damn, he still looks pretty good, for his
Yeah,
age and the stress of the job and all that. So, but Giants fans, rest easy. It's not an experiment. It's not a guy that's learning on the fly and adjusting from being a coordinator to a head coach and how to manage that.
right.
He knows how to do it. He's been doing it a long time. And we got to expect, too, that because of that experience, he's going to be able to improve it that much more, too, with his new surroundings and especially, too, with just a different roster, right? And attacking these challenges in a different way because of the personnel that we have and the personnel that, of course, he'll add to our football team. So exciting times for them, man.
All right. That's Matt. This is one of my grandsons.
What's up, Bry Guy?
What you doing,
Hi.
buddy?
Go Giants, right, buddy?
Yep.
Oh, yes. All right. All right. He said enough of that small talk. I got to go.
That's right. Well,
All right.
congratulations to Harbaugh, to the rest of the
Yep.
family. You are now the new head coach of the New York Football Giants. We're damn proud to have you. You look great in blue. That black and purple just didn't do it for you. All right. The blue accentuates your eyes. All right. So we appreciate it.
Oh,
All right, man. We're excited. But he's Phil Simms. I'm Matt Simms. This is Simms Complete, a part of the Believe Sports Network sponsored by FanDuel, excuse me. And congratulations, New York Giants. You got your head coach, John Harbaugh. We're excited as hell. The season can't get here fast enough. Let's go. All right. Go Big Blue. See you next time.
okay.